Today is August 1st, 2026. You would thought over the last couple weeks with everything coming out, people would stop. You're being fooled by the human traffickers, the people that sold all these people in Ohio. That guy, Will, the fake attorney, they checked his credentials. They are not real. He is a drug dealer. Okay? He is a human trafficker. He is scamming people. May 9th, 26. Investigators in Myers Alliance, I'm tired of that so-called attorney for children, said I checked his credentials. They're not real. He's no attorney. He's some guy Dave hired on his own. We think it may be one of his girlfriend's dads. It's that bad. Just saying he's an attorney. Right? So they're drug cartel and human traffickers. He doesn't know the law. I didn't think he was an attorney. He's the Bill from the Freemason scam, that guy Will that has to pull a scam off here to join the Texas group. He's a big scammer. Okay? Now, I told you 2 days ago on July 30th, 26, Wellness Grove, my grandson Daniel had a counseling appointment there. Okay? All through the case since 18. They have been bringing prostitutes and strippers with no clothes, hardly any clothes on. He went out with me today instead of you. I don't know who he is. And who would want a man that went out with a stripper or a prostitute? He probably has AIDS, and that makes him a sleazeball. Most normal women would tell that sleazeball to get away from him. He said they were trying to make me feel bad about myself. That didn't make me feel bad about myself. That made him seem disgusting. Because what kind of sleazeball does that? Okay? And I don't even know who he is, so... Some sleazeball? I mean, seriously. Disgusting pig doing that. Then making fun of a rape victim and a victim that he's running a con on. Having fun at his victim's expense. Okay? Well, July 30th, 26, we're in that Wellness Grove. Okay? A girl comes in a sports bra. Tiny pair of shorts so you can see her butt crack. Who the hell dresses like that? In public and in office. Not no attorney's kid, I'll tell you that much. I have, now my dad, with being a vice president and a general manager, he had very wealthy contacts, business owners. Okay? Had to dress nice when you went with him. Had to stand there and act properly. Okay? You and I have worked in businesses and dealt with business owners. Okay? I have, even in my home health care, been in people's homes that are millionaires. Their kids and grandkids in everyday clothes like us. It's not proper, even in middle class to upper class to extremely upper class, for you to ever dress like that in public, besides being on a beach or a pool party or a gym. Because those people are big businessmen or women. Those are their children. And to dress like a stripper on or a prostitute on the street, they would never allow their children to go out like that in a regular public or an office in just a sports bra in a tiny pair of shorts showing your butt. See what I mean? They wear everyday clothes like we do. If they wear shorts, they're 2 or 3 inches below their butt. They have thin little t-shirts on. They'll have nice tank tops on. But they don't walk around like a stripper or a hooker on the corner. They don't advertise. Why? Because even just being their children, they represent them. And they wouldn't tolerate it. And it's not tolerated in upper society, let alone in regular society. That kind of wear is beach wear, pool wear, or gym wear. Not walking in an office. See, there way back in 19, they brought strippers into where I was having training. 2 girls in a red dress barely covered the very front of their butt in front and cut below their chest. And they basically had about as little on as a bikini. I mean, not a bikini, but a bathing suit. He went out with us today. It's like, ew. I don't know who he is, but what a sleazeball. And then other strippers, other prostitutes, they go in, it's like, hey, I'm almost naked. You're going to believe what I say when I talk to you, right? You have to bring the stripper and prostitute aspects. Why? Because you're cartel. They're pimps and prostitutes, drug dealers and strippers doing this. They announced in 23 it's a cartel doing this. Okay? So we're on God's green earth. If this guy was supposed to be a big attorney, why would his kid look like a prostitute on the corner? And where would it be okay to walk in an office in just a sports bra and a tiny pair of shorts until you can see their ass? It wouldn't. Would it? Because any real attorney, you represent me, you cover up some. You put a t-shirt over that sports bra and you put a better pair of shorts on. Huh? And they would demand it. I have done with home health care, I did senior care. I've been in millionaires' homes. Their kids or grandkids, they look like the people in regular class. They have shorts on, 2 or 3 inches below their butt, at least. And they have either a decent tank top on, layer tank top, or a t-shirt, and they dress just like us. Except for a lot of times they have a fancy logo on it. And I'll tell you what, they would have never let their kid out in public looking like that and disgrace them, thinking I'm raising a prostitute. But a human trafficker or drug dealer that has prostitutes and strippers working for him, she fits perfectly in their society. And only in their society. Because regular society, you can pick them out in a crowd. Because normal people don't dress like that. And it's definitely not an upper class because it's not proper. Get the idea? Well, there was a girl like that. There was other girls coming in. Eventually, I had to go to the bathroom. I heard a girl out in the hallway. My dad's paid for almost all this. We're teaching her a lesson. For what? Being his victim of the big scam. And then she's in there trying to put the shower scene in the other room. Apparently, she didn't know Agent John's girlfriend already confessed in front of the cops June 26, 26. That, The drug dealers they hired to do this, they taped her in the shower and photoshopped that in the other room to make her look weird with herself. Cackling in the restaurant. And she's trying to pull that and the drugs and told us it. She's like, none of her family will back the tapes before. They're just embarrassed. No, it's a drug scam, you twit. We're going to teach her a lesson for what? Being your victim because you're trying to run a scam here? You're trying to run a scam here. You're a prostitute and strippers and drug dealers and human traffickers are teaching me a lesson for their scam. Oh, come on. Come on. Huh? Yesterday, the one owner of my company, his boss is a judge in Ohio. Been telling him a lot over the years. I told him about Judge Peters from Florida and his people doing this to me in 2020. I started working for him. Yeah. And Judge Peters in Florida and 100 men were arrested in 2022 by the FBI. They had to get it set up and get him. Get the idea? Well, I explained where I had already told him that Henry Mafia had showed up and, how he confessed he never met me in person, how the police were laughing about it the next day, and how he's trying to pull a scam on the FBI, steal everything for himself, his own confession. Okay? And they were laughing. Like we told you, she doesn't know what's going on. He admitted he never met her in person. Okay? I said what they were laughing at, I found out, where that agent mocked me on a recorded line about piece tape of weird with yourself. I thought, why is he lying on my brother? I haven't seen him in years. And, I talked to him on the phone. I thought, well, he has to be talking about somebody else. I said, what are you talking about? I don't even know who. Said something, I don't even know who or what you're talking about. Then he said, I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this doctor for sexual disorders or one of your brother. I had to catch my breath. At that point, I wanted to scream, why don't you stop lying? As he's laughing at me. He's laughing because he knows it's a lie. Those two men are the same, and they're the Henry Mafia that never met me in person. And who is he? His girlfriend's dad. Yeah. Who is Katie from Dave's church? Her family member, Michelle. The stripper, prostitute, and the drug cartel. Huh? That Agent John has to pay, and that's her dad. It's that bad. And he's helping run a con on me. On a recorded line, the damning evidence. When you find out who the doctor and Pete is the same person, and it's that Henry Mafia that admitted he never met me in person, and you find out it's Katie from Dave's church, it's her family member, that is Michelle, that is Agent John's girlfriend, and that's her dad. Oh, in the Wellness Grove, that girl was saying, Agent John trusts his girlfriend's dad to break in private homes, set up button cameras watching them, break in and do things. No, they don't. They can't. He allows anybody to break in anybody's home, set up button cameras. He is dismissed, fired from the FBI immediately. 5 to 20 years. See what I mean? These people don't know the law. Nor could the police let anybody in. They can't. They don't trust attorneys. They don't trust anybody. See what I mean? And the police would go to jail. Nobody can let anybody in your home. It's policing agencies only under threat of life, with statements, with a court order, and with them agreeing to protect somebody in that home, and statements of threat of life on everyone, from everyone in that home, that they know of it, or they can't even go in. It's a felony invasion of privacy, illegal monitoring, and voyeurism. No one can be in your home. See, these people just lie all the time. You know, it just flabbergasting. Today, we went to Bob Evans on 62. There was somebody on the other side of the divider. I heard him. Agent John said she couldn't say anything. They already took her money and gave it to them. He can't do that. That's extortion of the government. You want to witness against them? So I started the First Amendment freedom of speech. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything they won't get their money? It's blackmail, like the Stark County Sheriff's. We already knew he couldn't say it, and it's blackmail. Can't be in the court order, it's blackmail. It's also tampering with a witness, obstruction to justice, and extortion out of the government funds. It's 20 to life. What's a jail sentence for a judge signing it? Same. What is the jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything? They won't have protection. It's attempted murder. Aiding and abetting crimes. Obstruction of justice and tampering with witnesses. It's 20 to 30 years. What's the jail sentence for the judge? If he'd sign a court order like that? Same. It says for both of those, under the color of the law, no one can take your constitutional rights away. A judge can only put a gag order on you during a jury trial, and only during the proceedings. And it even says a judge cannot sign a court order taking your freedom of speech away outside that. It is abuse of authority, and they are to be criminally charged. Same for an agent. An agent's been bullshitting everyone with his girlfriend, her dad, and some drug dealer. Getting that idea. So I went through all that. And where I talked to a criminal attorney, the prosecutor's office, police, right on Google. Those guys said he's been lying to all of us. Yeah. Joan damn fault for falling for him. You need to know your rights. So con men can't steal from you. You know, that's where, I went over a lot. And about how that Henry Mafia, I found out, is that guy Pete. How it's Katie from that church's family member, Michelle. And that's her dad. And he's dating her, and she's a paid prostitute in the cartel. And that Will guy's no attorney. His credentials are fake. And he's just a big drug dealer. That's it. Oh, and then, of course, I had to have somebody show up for Melissa's lies. It's like, why don't you hang it up? How many places, how many towns, how many agencies have told you during an FBI case, those kids were taped saying they made everything up? They're games of pretend. She doesn't have an attorney. It's a scam. She has been working with a cartel, running scams on people since 18. And, that's where I taped my ex-husband because I didn't know what was going to be said or anything. On Thanksgiving of 18, they were playing Boo in the basement. We had a split level house, so it was a family room. There was a sectional couch, TV, full bathroom, laundry room. Okay. And they're taking each one of us down to yell, ah, and everybody acts scared. They're little, so we're entertaining them. On the third step up, the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Joe and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. I look down. They're all in a huddle saying crazy crap. I go up and sit by Dixie and the baby. And Flora comes up there saying mean things in the basement. She says, stay out of it. So I go up to John. I go, what on earth is going on? He said, I don't know, Mom. He said, I told Melissa. He said that you're going through a divorce, moving out. She'll have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It's just because of the divorce. And I said, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened. But I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And he shoos me. So I called my ex-husband. I taped him, and the police and FBI were taping him. I said, Dave, what on earth? I said, I've never hurt anyone. He said, Karen, you're good to the kids. You're good to the grandkids. You would never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. And I went back over the last year. I hadn't been around him 5 minutes and not alone. John and Melissa only came over on the holidays. They had big careers, their own family, and their own lives. They only called or only showed up if they needed something. Otherwise, John would stop by here and there by himself, and he called all the time. Okay? But they never came over except for holidays. We used to call them the holiday family. Okay? So I went over how Christmas with 2017, we bought bikes for them, took them over there. They weren't home. We got permission to leave them in the house with name tags. We went back over Christmas Eve because I knew they couldn't come over. She had family up from Florida. And we went in while they were having a buffet dinner and talked for a few minutes. And they made fun of Dave for having pot in his system. Like he didn't know what it was. He got suspended from work. See, we already had the attempted break-in. Knowing where the security system was, it was already started. Okay. We seen him there with everybody there, not alone. Okay. Got him to confess he got suspended for the pot in his system. And how they made fun of him. Like he didn't know what they were doing. It's like he's freaking 60. And we didn't do drugs. I didn't swear back then. I didn't wear pants. I wore skirts, didn't even wear sleeveless shirts. I used to say until chocolate, coffee, and Diet Coke became illegal, I'm good. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't even swear. For years. Okay? All right, then we go over, and I think I made a mistake in one of the tapes. I said in March. March, we put our house up for sale in Maslin. If you look at the actual timeline, uh, the Monday before we closed, we had everything out of the house, okay, and everything out of the garage. We were ready to close. We were supposed to close that Monday, and they changed the closing of the houses again. Because they kept doing that to me, I put my stuff in storage in at Danny's. I could set up my house slowly, my new one. Okay? Well, I forgot to turn the electric off. It stopped the electric from being turned off because we were supposed to close that day. 8 o'clock in the morning, we're asleep on the living room floor, and all of a sudden it goes pop, and everything went off. And I looked at Dave, I sat up, I went, I forgot to stop the electric from being turned off. Run, he's trying to grab clothes and run outside. He got him and had him turn it back on. He came back and he said, this is it. He said, John will not come over and pick up his stuff. It's out in the garage. It's the only thing left in the garage. We're taking it over. Well, we kept trying to call Johnny. He didn't answer. And on the way over there, he finally calls me. She's leaving me again. Well, over the last 10 years, they had broke up and got back together 10, 20 times. One time they were apart for over a year. Just don't fight in front of the kids. It's their lives. They're adults. Okay. We pull in, we can see her packing through the windows. She comes out, hi, what are you doing here? And I said, we got John's stuff. We need to drop it off. I'll put it against the house. Kids run out, hi, and wave their little and chase each other. She's like, when do you close? I said, well, we were supposed to do it today, and but they moved it for a few days off. Dave we talked for maybe a minute or two. Okay. And Dave put the stuff against the house and we left. Okay. That is May 25th, 2018. We closed that Friday. Or is that the 22nd? I'd have to look at it. Okay. I'd have to look at the date. Maybe the 22nd. I'm not for sure. 21st. Okay. Now I want you to think about this. The timeline. The Monday before Memorial Day weekend of 2018. We closed on that Friday. Both houses. Okay? By the 6th day up there, somebody kicked my door in the wall while we're in a storage unit. Dave's making excuses. Don't report it. Another realtor passed out keys, made up all kinds of excuses. We had to patch the wall, put new locks on the door. That's when the button cameras were supposed to go off. By the next week, I'm covered in bruises, collapsing in front of the neighbor. By June 7th of 18, I'm laying on my kitchen floor, halfway between the kitchen and living room, and the room is spinning. I got bruises all over me. I'm severely infected, and I'm sick as a dog. The only thing new to me is the orange well water I'm showering in. And I thought it was toxic. Never seen, never talked to anybody. And we had it tested at several different types of iron in it and rust. Like the doctor said, if it would have had a real bad toxin in it, it would have caused the bruising, throwing up, severe infection. But iron and rust won't do anything. Different types of them. We had bees' nest in the ground in several places in the backwoods. They were always getting in the house. We were always wanting them. So where those people last year said those drug dealers were hiding in my home. Who would think you had drug dealers in your home? Hiding in your home, seriously. Would hide behind doors, and as I walked by a room, reach out and stab me. Pull back real quick so I wouldn't see him. And what would I be looking for? Sure as hell wouldn't be a drug dealer. I was looking for a fucking bee. She don't remember getting stabbed in the hallway. Why wouldn't I remember being stabbed? And I thought, oh my God, I thought it was one of those bees or something bit me. Here they injected me with hypnotic drugs. Hypnotic drugs cause sleepwalking, no memory, amnesia. You can cook, drive a car, eat, walk, have sex, and you'll never remember nothing. The drugs, and told us say it before. They're playing with me, these drug dealers. And Dave's human trafficking me out of that house to drug dealers under drugs. And I'm thinking it's the well water killing me. Like they said, they kept her so drugged up, she wasn't putting anything together up there. Okay? And these are drug dealer tapes. Photoshopping, washing in the shower, and drugs and told us that. Okay? Now, going back to me taping Dave, I taped him that way you seen Melissa on Christmas Eve of 2017. And I think I said March, but it was the last week. It was a Monday before Memorial Day of 2018. Her and the kids were there running by, hi, and then ran off. Well, I talked to her for a minute while Dave put John's stuff against the house. I didn't see the kids again till the 4th. They were an hour late. They had went to a park. And we had already ate, did up an hour's worth of dishes. Everybody's drinking coffee. Okay? He comes in, sits down. I take a picture with my phone of everybody in there. And I make their plates. They take 2 bites, put their arms up in the air. Pillow fights! Run to the family room downstairs. Jen and I grab bottles of water. We go outside. We can hear them playing outside. Dave's riding around on the riding lawnmower. And John, Noah, and Dave's playing catch. You could hear the kids giggling and playing clear outside. It was wonderful hearing my family enjoy my house I've worked on so hard on. After about 45 minutes, it's the 4th. It got too hot. We went inside, dished up dessert, didn't even get sat down. Dave came in, John left. I said he left, he didn't say goodbye. He's in a hurry. He's got several stops today because it's the 4th. He just stopped in for the kids to see the house. I seen him at the table. They left through the garage because they were in a hurry. Oh, I forgot one other time. When we first closed, within like the 3rd day, we had went down to Danny's to get a load. Truck, trailer, my car full. We stopped at Maslin Walmart. John and his kids are in there. They come running at us because they're little. Grandma Papa, what you doing here? Buying curtains for the basement. What are you doing? I don't know. A moment in time past each other. I didn't see him again until the FBI was there. And Dave verified it. I said, what on earth? I haven't even been around him more than 4 or 5 minutes for a whole year. He said, don't worry about it. John will take care of it. She needs to, I said, and her making up stuff because of a divorce? He said, we're not divorced and you haven't moved out. And he's even like, she does need to stay out of it. And he totally defends me because I expected him to. Here I found out. And what were those kids taped in the basement by the police and FBI? That they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. What else were they said in the basement? They made everything up. They were games of pretend of Flora, 6 ship. Now, November, December, we'll go back to even just last week. Okay, not Thursday. Not 2 days ago, but 9 days ago. Okay. Daniel was at that counseling on the Thursday before, so was that like the 22nd? Some guy sitting behind me, Carl, leaves to go to the bathroom. He said, trust me, no one would ever say a word to you. These people admitted years ago they drugged you and told you to say it before, and Dave was involved in the house. And I thought, well, oh my God, they did more than once. Not only on 8/9/21 in Louisville, and then several other places, but they did in the beginning of the case. November, December of 18, it should be about that time, in at the police and the FBI around me. Drug dealers showed up around me, and they're really insulting Dave. Okay? Who does he think he is? Calling him a bunch of swear words. He said they use C drugs, which is hypnotic, when they drugged her and told her to say it before. He said she has no memory of anything before and what those people did to her. The Z drugs erase everything as it's happening. It actually causes amnesia and sleepwalking. Okay? And a metal taste in your mouth when it wears off. Okay? And he said, too bad we don't have a drug to erase what we're doing to her now. He said, Dave wants us to take her out and kill her. I don't care what he thinks. Why kill her when we could sell a good woman? Make money off of it. He said Melissa and Dave had this plan for months before they did it. How they were going to do it to ensure that they both got everything in the divorce, in their divorces. And her and Dave decided she would be the more suitable parent to raise those kids. So it's set up so when she goes for complete custody, she won't be able to help John. And they were ratting him out in 18. See, those drug dealers hated Dave, hated him. You know, that's where you got to think, if you're a piece of shit enough, that, no offense, mafia, at all, don't get mad at me, but if you're going to hire like a mafia group to run a con on somebody and drug, beat, and rape them and kill them, you don't yell at the mafia guys. You don't order them around. They kill people for a living. Are you insane? Oh, my arrogant asshole ex-husband apparently was very rude to him. So they ratted him out in front of the cops and feds. They told him, you guys, they all been mad at that pretty Michelle that dated an agent on a Rouge, and last year started telling on him on March 27th, 25 about the doctor from before not one of mine, but works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctor, and when they bashed in my head, they tried to kill me or leave me incompetent at work, and as soon as she told that guy, he broke up with her. Then they threatened to kill her, and her friends went badass telling on all of them. Well, the original cartel, Dave got really nasty, rude with him. So they told on him in front of the cops and feds, including what kind of drugs, and that him and Melissa were in it together, planning this whole thing out to make sure they both got everything in the divorce. Right in front of the cops and feds. They were even saying stuff like that in Louisville in 19. And they almost acted like they were a couple at one time. And I made comments, does John know his wife was cheating on him with his dad? That's disgusting. Does he know his wife, while they were married, was cheating with his dad? Because they were talking how like they were like a couple and in on everything together, almost like they were together. They were in it, everything. Well, if you take April 6, 25, what Melissa had said to Dixie, where the group of people they hired to do this to her, she was part of hiring them. She confessed to Dixie. Well, those two drug dealers that said they worked for the drug lord, Melissa is willing to help us get away with this. She's willing to have the kids lie. No way. I told her to say, so the cops follow her around, find out what she's going to say. They caught her telling the kids to lie, and then the kids tape saying they made everything up. They were games of pretend and how they wanted their pap on that girl to get my home. And they're documenting me games of pretend. And they showed up at Walmart. These people had already sold the login. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. The rest of her family speaking highly of her. Officer Mark, I'd hate to arrest Melissa for involving herself in this. Her kids are little. We'll write it up. They were just showing off for Dave and his new girlfriend. Other ones, Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. And then the list of, from the Maslin police, June 23rd, 21 to July 4th, 21, to Mount Carmel, Illinois. They're documenting games of pretend. Officer John, which I found out, his name's not John, he's not an officer, he's another federal agent. January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m. Stop men at the door where those kids get tape stating they made everything up. October 5th, 21, Huntington Bank in front of a client. They were talking about that girl lying. They were talking about her everywhere lying. Stark County Sheriffs in May of 21 were laughing at some guy named Kurt. If he just found out those kids are lying, he's slow. March 23rd, 23, federal agents come in. Walmart 62, we told these people stay out of it. She's never hurt anyone, and nobody's ever seen anything. Some lady thought she could make money off of it. Okay? Can't make money off of mean jokes. And then in 18, Karen's family ought to be ashamed of themselves. Sitting around laughing, making up stuff behind her back. She's risking her life helping us get information on these people. Well, they're sitting around making up stuff on her. They ought to be ashamed. In several places they said it. Now, Melissa should have lost her kids in 18. There's no damn excuse. She's letting drug cartel guys talk dirty to her little girls. Tell them to say horrible stuff I found out. She should have lost her children for exposing them to the drug cartel. Okay. March 20th, 26th, Walmart West Husk. Where that agent that got it out, that other Michelle, about the dirty doctor not being one of mine, works for them, and they had lied, and when they bashed my head, they tried to kill me. He also got it out of Dave, who's letting another girlfriend from before me. She had actually made him marry me on a scam. So he could get a job at my dad's factory, and she'd have free insurance. The other lady using my insurance was one and running up medical bills in my name. For 15 years, it wasn't random identity theft. It was him and another girlfriend. And he got it out of that family that was telling everybody that It offended them, strange, calling me a faker, that they were all lying to the FBI, helping them get away with it. And it didn't even concern them, they were just lying. Well, March 20th, 26, an investigator from 18 is in Walmart West House by the electronics. They still have the tape. While we're looking at the electronics of how an FBI agent had showed up at his office and told him that a year ago, because it was March 27th, 25, and he got all that, that family that was telling everybody it offended him, that strange calling her a faker, that they were all lying to the FBI to help him get away with it. I haven't found any of this funny. Found out Strange hated the government, and that's why they tried this with us. Okay, well, June 3rd, 26, Bell Store and Magnolia investigators down there found him, got the surveillance, found him. He told them that Melissa is documented, me games to pretend, and that I have never hurt anyone. And it was the human traffickers in my home before. The people that sold people here in Ohio running a scam on me. Okay? There was other times down there, people showed up and they tried to pull Melissa's mean games to pretend. Said we had the police look up Melissa. It does come up that she's documented mean games to pretend and that you had never hurt anyone. I didn't even know what the mean games were pretend were, because the police would only tell me they'll make up something and call you a bad word. They wouldn't tell me. And because apparently I was fishing with Dave because I didn't see him. Okay? And I didn't have him around me. And because they didn't ever come around but holidays, I didn't know. And they knew I didn't know. October 23rd, 2019, Brielle's first party. If my granddaughter Flora wouldn't have stated it, I would have never known. It was that bad. Nobody would tell me. And I said, do you know how mad I was when I heard them saying the house wasn't meant for me, it was meant for that auntie show? She's like, that's not what they said. They said this. It was filthy. My face had been priceless. Make up something, call me a bad word. Josh went, oh, don't say that again. It's not true. She's like, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Laughing. They better thank God I'm not their mother. I would have spanked them all. June 28th, 26th. I'm in Carrollton. A heavy-set guy shows up. He looked at me in the Speedway. I'm in there several times that day. He said, I found out what's going on. None of this is funny. I thought that they were only making fun of you. I thought, who are you? Well, that night I had to go to work outside my clients. I could hear a guy talking. I seen her today. I found out what's going on. There is a real FBI case. I found out the police taped Melissa telling her kids to lie. Her kids saying they wanted the house for that girl that everybody's stealing for. And that they made everything up. And they were games of pretend. And the police and the FBI taped them. He said, is that why there's no evidence of anything? Because they're just mean jokes? He said, yes. He said, then you better tell her to tell everybody she knows never to say a word to her again. He said, or she'll end up in jail. He said, I found out there's some lady waiting to arrest Melissa. He said, I know about her and she's ready to pounce. He said, then you tell Melissa, I said to tell everyone you know what they taped you saying, telling your kids to lie, that you guys were all lying for that girl that you're stealing for. And that there were just games of pretending you were showing off. And that's it. Or she's going to end up in jail. Now, we're going to have a little bit of reality check here. See, human traffickers doing this. Now, for you freaking idiots, you not a brain cell in your freaking head falling for a drug scam. Would an attorney hire actually you to follow me and stalk me? No, he thinks you're a freaking moron and you're falling for a scam and it's a human trafficker because you're a retard. What would they do? They let the police handle it. They sure as hell wouldn't hire you. Would they? That human trafficker, well, he's a drug dealer. They pulled his credentials. They're not real. He's just a big drug dealer. Scamming the hell out of society. So, retards, some drug dealer made up a lie and said follow her. And you're like, okay, because I'm a retard. Now, do you not have a brain cell in your head that some drug dealer couldn't convince you to do a crime and stalk and harass his victim because you're a retard? See, I'm not talking about anybody with disability. I'm talking about people with normal IQs acting like moronic idiots. If somebody would have actually done something, the police would have arrested them. They would have been prosecuted and then punished. But I'll tell you what, when they're documented mean jokes are all sitting around laughing at, thinking they can scare people out of stuff, Melissa is already with the cartel and working with the cartel, scamming people since 18. Chew on that one for a minute. Nobody went to the hospital. There's no police report. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no treatment for injuries. There's no physical evidence. Why? Because they're mean jokes. Get the idea? Mean jokes. To scare me out of my house. They have sold the login. People pull Thanksgiving of 18. And those kids get taped saying that. And John totally defended me. They're like, none of this is funny. Reality check. Stop falling for a drug scam. And no attorney would ever ask you to follow me and stalk and harass me. They'd lose their license. Get the idea. You've been all punked by a drug dealer. There they said in 23, this whole thing has been run by the drug cartel. You've been scammed by pimps, drug dealers, prostitutes, and strippers. Now, how stupid do you look being scammed by drug dealers and pimps and prostitutes and strippers? Running a scam on the FBI. What's not funny is Agent John being involved. So we're idiots showing up. Even the Stark County sheriffs laughed at a guy named Kurt in May of 21. And Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he's slow. You know, when, like they said down in Magnolia, we had them look up Melissa, her and the kids. It comes up documented me games of pretend. And that you had never hurt anyone. Everybody's so sorry for the way we treated you. Some drug dealers lied to you and you harassed a rape victim that they were running a con up. Melissa has been working with the cartel since 18. It's a cartel. I had a personal injury attorney, and she said for any injury, it doesn't matter if it's an animal, a person, or a vehicle. You have to have requirements to have a case, to even have a case. Open one. You have to prove you were injured. You just can't say it. What's wrong with this? Strike one. You have to be seen at a hospital. Strike two. You have to get a hold of the police. Strike 3. There has to be treatment for the injuries and pictures of them that go along with the hospital report. Strike 4. Because I had a dog bite, I also had to have a dog warden's report. And then I proved I was injured. But even until then, you just can't say it. You have to have proof in an investigation. So then you can't just have a witness because witnesses can be paid off. You have to have physical evidence linking that person, that animal, or that vehicle to your injuries. Where that dog bit me, it latched onto my arm and bit through my coat. I had his DNA on my coat, and then I had a case. I wasn't allowed to wash my coat until we settled. Get that idea. All they have is them sitting around laughing in the middle of an FBI case obstructing justice. Like they said down in Magnolia a little over a month ago, where they showed up again. Melissa was in it with those drug dealers when they drugged you and told you to say it before. She didn't want you to be able to help John when she went for custody. She didn't want a person like you raising her kids. Guy walked up. Officer Mark made a big mistake. Let Melissa go. I was in July 8th, 26. I was in Walmart and Alliance. A guy in the back screaming how he made me live through complete horror. A person like her, I'm teaching her a lesson. They said that that's a fake attorney Will. The drug dealer Will confessing he did it to me. July, what day was it? It was Wednesday. I'm trying to think of what day it was. The 20th, 21st, or 22nd. We were in something like that. We were in Myers in Alliance. And people walk around saying what those people said again down in Magnolia. How, trust me, nobody will say a word since those people confess that Melissa had those drug dealers drug you until you say it before, because she didn't want you to be able to help John when she went for total custody of the kids. She didn't want a person like you raising her kids. A victim. And Bob Evans that day. There's a guy off in the distance. I already didn't find this funny when I was in the other store. When that guy confessed he put her through complete horror. I was in Myers today with her. I heard those people admit Melissa was part of having her drugged and told her to say it before so she couldn't help John when she went for custody because she didn't want a person like her raising her kids. Her. And she's the one that had drug dealers do it to her. Just like they said in 18. Good idea. He said, I never want to see or talk to Melissa again. You tell everybody not to talk to her. Her thinking she can have people drugged and live through terror. For her having people drugged up and told to say stuff. Tell everybody never to talk to her. There's other people listening behind us, and I went off about the hypnotic drug sleepwalking, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and how that agent is dating Henry Maffey's kid, which is that Pete that they talk about, the fake dirty doctor. And it's that Agent John's girlfriend's dad. That is some girl named Katie from that church, is family member. the one that dates Tim for 20-something years. The one, March 30th, 26, a group of people came into Dutch Valley Restaurant, said that Katie confessed to all of us that she had never threatened her and was never even mean to her. She lied so people would help out. She was mad at her because in 2003, she wouldn't give her the time of day, and we found out she was cheating with her brother-in-law. That's why she was avoiding her, because her sister wouldn't stand up for herself. Nobody blames her for avoiding her. And that was 15 years before the case, and now 23 now. Nobody ever better speak to Katie. Making up lies like that. When the case first started, they all said that they were all getting even with me because Katie lied to them. I hadn't even talked to her in 7 years. Only said hi to her walking by in the mall before Dave quit his church. If she would have said hi, I would have said hi. After he quit his church, we walked on the other side of the kiosk. We already avoided her like she had the plague because she'd been cheating with my brother-in-law since 2001. And Linda won't stand up for herself. Get the idea? People you don't see, don't talk to, lying on you. So everybody needs to go online, FBI submit a tip, contact the CIA, contact the White House president, and tell on these people. It's the human traffickers running a scam. Drug dealers that were selling people. You know, these idiot people, oh, we're going to teach her a lesson, we're going to do this. You've been saying that for 8 years, fuck off. You can't get me with drugs and told to say it before. By drug dealers and photoshopped a washing in the shower by drug dealers or mean jokes. Are you serious? They don't get nothing for that. They're trying to stall so Agent John can get the case thrown out because, like they said, he defrauded her. He didn't pay her. He told on her for calling. Admitted the FBI even told people he knew she was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care for the case starting. He knew they were harming her. Of course he did. It was his girlfriend's dad. And a bunch of drug dealers they hired to run a scam on me. Get the idea? Amber admitted on a recorded line he met with all those church people. Bullies her. Makes her beg for her life. Then lists her informant and threatens her. Then he doesn't have the authority to ask her to stay quiet, and it's illegal. So federal crime of blackmail, like the sheriff said, we thought he was acting that way. We all knew it was illegal for him to even say it. Can't be in a court order. It's blackmail. We thought he was acting that way to get the drug dealers till he showed up at that courthouse trying to get the case thrown out. Where they said they'll get the case thrown out if the FBI doesn't pay her. They don't think they'll go around Agent John. It's treachery. And they're going to get all those drug dealers released. And they're going to sue for tens of millions of dollars. See, earlier in that day of June 3rd, 26th in the Bell store, people came in. We found out they were stealing for Katie's family. Oh, this is funny. I'm in the bathroom for a while. Girls come in, the Kingsmen are dying laughing. The FBI would rather let the drug dealers out. Let them sue them for tens of millions of dollars each of false arrest under fraud. Because they defrauded her instead of paying her what little money they owe her and standing up for that case. They'd rather pay the drug dealers each $10 million. They're all about to be millionaires. They're all dying laughing. They can't believe it. I talked to my friend at the prosecutor's office. All informants get paid. Okay? How that agent doesn't have the authority to ask you to stay quiet. How it's illegal. It's a federal crime. Can't be in a court. I already read you the jail sentences. It was only bullying me. If they don't pay you, they don't stand up for that case, and they don't take care of that agent, it will get thrown out. They have to pay you to surveillance you and pay you to stay up there so they get information. Otherwise, they defrauded you and they can get it thrown out. And then I did research. Well, not only that or if I'm mistreated, that's where the willing statement. To counteract Agent John's fraud, because the FBI did not sanction a case for the FBI to open a case for Agent John to defraud me and to pay for a prostitute. There's not a prostitute clause. Huh? They sanctioned a real threat and attempt to lie case for an FBI informant with money and immunity for getting them information. And that's all they can put in it. And it's only for getting them information. Even the prosecutor's office, criminal attorney, police I talked to. You risk your life to get them information and they owe you. You're in money, you get money immunity the rest of your life. Okay? They can add living, housing expenses and a medical card. That would be wonderful. Okay. But at least the money and immunity for life for getting them information. You go in where they can't go. Okay? And they owe you. 95% of the people in the witness protection program are hardened criminals. They flip. Only 5% are victims. All right? So, they wipe out their whole past. You get money immunity if you work 5 minutes of the case or the whole case. And for the rest of your life. Okay, so we're going to put it this way. If they write up a statement, so they can't say I was abused. If that I was willing to stay up there while they surveillance me to get those people that were threatening my life and harming me and harming others, knowing I was risking my life in personal injuries and possible death, that even with facing those, but willing to help the FBI so they could surveillance me to get these people. Knowing the agency would be the one compensating me for any personal injuries and paying me, and knowing my First Amendment right, freedom of speech, that agent was only bullying me. And the agency alone would be the one paying me. It takes it from a defrauded victim to a willing, knowledgeable worker. And like the investigators, we wish they would take her offer. It will fix it. And then they pay her and compensate her. It shuts a door no man can open. Like Walter said, it's a big legal loophole that they can get the whole surveillance thrown out. The agent knew what he was doing. See, I have to be paid for them to surveillance me. Otherwise, it's illegal monitoring. And they can even go to jail. They can't monitor anybody in their home without threat and attempt to lie case for an informant under a threat of life with statements in a court order and agree to protect someone in that home. It's a felony invasion of privacy, illegal monitoring, cyber stalking, and voyeurism. That's why you have to be a paid informant for them to be there. They pay me, they compensate me, and then that willing worker will cover everything. Everything. They're willing to stay up there while they surveillance me, knowing I was facing personal injury, possible death, but still willing to stay under my own recognizance, my own will of that, knowing I was facing harm and injury, but willing to stay so the FBI could get surveillance on those people that were threatening my life and others, knowing the agency would be the one paying me and compensating me. And that other agent was only bullying me because of the First Amendment freedom of speech, that he didn't have the authority to ask me to stay quiet. He was only bullying me. Sign it, notarize it, and then pay and compensate me. It fixes everything. And the drug dealers stand there. It's sad when it has to come down to this. I'm going to upload this.